You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Definitely a scary situation involving LSU quarterback Colin Hurley. I don't know that there's really anything to editorialize here because we know still very little about what's happened. But Colin Hurley, who just finished his freshman season at LSU, is, according to SportsCenter, still in the hospital, was involved in a car wreck where he hit a tree with his vehicle around 2:45 a.m. Thursday. He was driving a Dodge Charger. A crash report obtained by WBRZ said that firefighters pulled Hurley out of his vehicle, sort of in and out of consciousness, had a large cut on his face, unresponsive but was breathing. And I think sometimes we read that word unresponsive and it's a very jarring word. But if you think about what it means just in the literal sense, if you're talking to him, he's not responding, then he's being unresponsive. It's not to say that he was unconscious. They said he was in and out of consciousness. So hopeful here for the best. And as we have updates on Hurley's condition, we'll pass it along. There's just very little that's been released right now. LSU has not made a statement as of yet on Colin Hurley's condition. I know everyone is going to wonder this, but officials have said impairment was not suspected. So intoxication was not suspected, here with Colin Hurley's crash. So 2:45 in the morning, we could all make a guess, but I'll withhold any speculation or opinion on the matter here. Just hoping for the best for Hurley, who, remember, is only 17 years old. He was not only an early enrollee, but he reclassified. So he actually graduated high school a year and a half early. We hear a lot of guys enrolling early, right? So they basically finish high school in December so they could go through spring football. Well, Hurley did that as a 16-year-old, basically in December of his junior year of high school. So he reclassified, meaning he finished high school after his junior year and did so at the midway point. So he was here last year for spring. So Colin Hurley's only 17 years old. Like he would right now be starting the second semester of his senior year of high school. Instead, he's already gone through a spring at LSU, a summer, a full season, and now is about to enter his second spring at LSU as just a 17-year-old. So here's hoping Colin Hurley's okay. You probably, if you're a fan of the show, if you're a listener regularly, we had Colin Hurley on several times throughout his recruitment. As impressive a young person as we have ever talked to. I mean, if I start to think of, in all the years I've been on radio, the short list of young people, like high school recruits who've come on the show that were so impressive and memorable. I mean, Russell Shepard comes to mind. Recently, we had Elijah Haven, the number one quarterback for 2027 here. Keelan Moses, who was in studio with us earlier this week. Colin Hurley is very much on that list. I mean, as impressive a young person as I've ever talked to. So that's irrelevant with respect to this conversation and his physical condition after this car wreck. But the good news is it doesn't appear that he was going at a high rate of speed. He did hit a tree, and it's always very scary. But when we have an update on Colin Hurley's condition, we'll let you know. Specifically from a football perspective, and obviously the health component of this is just the only thing that really matters. But, of course, in spring, Hurley, with Ricky Collins no longer here and A.J. Swan no longer here, Hurley would have been the only quarterback on the roster after Nussmeier, but LSU did bring in Michael Van Buren. So in spring, Hurley and Michael Van Buren, the Mississippi State transfer, will presumably battle for the backup job to Garrett Nussmeier. So it's a big time coming up here in Colin Hurley's career. My assumption, like many, is that Van Buren has been brought here to be the backup. I mean, he's a guy who started the bulk of this season at Mississippi State after Blake Shapen's injury, in LSU after Ricky Collins and A.J. Swan left. needed to address the backup spot with someone with some veteran experience. So that's why they brought in Michael Van Buren. And so Van Buren will be Nussmeier's backup and have an opportunity to win the job, presumably in 2026. But Colin Hurley would very much be in the mix there as well after having spent now a full year on LSU's campus. So here's hoping he's okay, recovers. As we have an update on his physical condition, we'll pass it along. If LSU releases a statement or is willing to go on the record with anything, we'll pass that along. But in the meantime, that's what we know. Colin Hurley, the LSU freshman quarterback, injured in a car wreck 2:45 a.m. Thursday morning. He was not, impairment is not suspected at this time, which is a good thing. But we'll keep you posted as we know more. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.